Nice. What's up, guys? I always say nice at the beginning of the show. Well, whatever. It is the Hake Report. It is 9:01 a.m. a.m. here in Los Angeles, California, Monday, July 13th, 2020. Thank you all for joining. What's up to James, Tim, Tex-Mex, Marcus Jones Stinks, Arizona Lyman, and all you guys. Appreciate you guys joining. You know, I have quite a show for you. So, and you press the amplify thing, or whatever it's called, boost the signal. I have some calls to get to, 888-775-3773. I was not here yesterday, which was Sunday, July 12th, 2020. I didn't come in. Joel was all in already. And I said, hey, Joel, I'm not coming in today. And he's all, thanks for telling me. But it was like a last minute decision. I heard my beta back. It was interesting, huh? But I'm here and I'm fine, and we are going to do 2 hours today. You'll have to just come up with whatever for the bottom of the hour. I mean, the top of the hour break. But anyways, let's get on with the show. What's up, guys?
You take a picture of me. Does that make you feel better? Why don't you get a life, lady?
Dude, I have a life.
No, and it's going around taking pictures of
yes,
people?
Yes, because of what you're doing.
So
Can you not follow the lines on the floor?
Keep your mouth running.
The governor, the mayor is asking us all to wear a mask. And look at you, not wearing a mask.
Oh, dear.
I wear a mask to protect myself.
This so political, it's unbelievable. Now, you have accosted me in this store.
You've accosted me when you came upon me within 6 feet not wearing a mask.
And if you're going to keep this up, maybe we'll get the police department in here.
Hey, Mom, why don't you call 911 then?
Yeah. Oh, God, another one. You people are like monkeys falling out of a tree.
No, you're the monkey that hasn't.
Hey, I'll tell you
dragging those knuckles that you've not evolved.
Okay, how's that grab you?
Ever heard of Darwinism, evolution, evolve, mister?
Why don't you burn something down?
Why don't you go back to where you were?
Why don't you
need to evolve
burn a monument down or something? You know?
You must be the one who's...
Are you burning crosses? Are you burning crosses?
People are idiots, man.
No, you're the idiot.
Yeah. But you're the ones playing your life on a freaking computer. You have no life. So this is what your life is?
It's a cell phone.
Dude, I'm out doing my shopping.
Unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
Yeah.
I bet you wouldn't wear...
Good luck with the virus. Good luck with the virus. Your whole family tree is getting cut off at its roots.
Good luck seeing your face today.
That's fine. I really don't care because, see, I don't live my life on the computer. My friends, I know my friends. They're in a phone number in my phone. You know?
You know what? So are mine.
Yeah, the way you people act, you've got no friends because of the way you act.
No, we like to show people around my friends how people act at Walmart.
Keep running your
right
mouth,
here.
Smart ass. Yeah.
I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumb one like you.
Such love.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, isn't it refreshing? American men being men, kind of men. Yeah, and sorry I didn't bleep that. Joelle caught what he said in the background because she was talking about, as the one who was closest, what you just heard if you were listening to the audio podcast and you didn't see the video. Two women were accosting a white man who was in a store, I guess a Walmart, paint section, and the man confronts the first woman and says, "What, you're taking pictures of me? Does that make you feel better?" Because he was not wearing a mask, right? And I guess wherever state that he was in and whatever city he was in, the governor and mayor said, "Please wear masks." Well, he didn't wear one, and nobody stopped him while he was entering the store, so he went right on not wearing a mask. And he's plenty far away from everybody, no big crowds or anything, but she's all, "Yeah, because you're not wearing a mask." And she starts calling him stupid, and she says, good luck with your family line. It's going to get cut off at its root, as if she knows what she's talking about. Typical know-it-all women trying to force their control on people, right? Typical. Very judgmental, right? And then, but I didn't catch it because she was saying that your family's going to get cut off at its root because he's not wearing a mask. Masks are to protect other people from you, not you from other people, by the way. Just a side note. That's what they say anyways. But as she was saying that, I didn't bleep it because I didn't notice it. But he said, why don't you, he told the second woman who was also recording him from the other side of him. And she's the one who was correcting him. It's not a computer, it's a phone. It's a phone. Cell phones are computers, by the way, just FYI. It's funny because Jesse Lee Peterson calls them computers too. And Bill O'Reilly calls them machines. Just old school people, good old American men, right? I like that aspect of the old school American men. But he says, why don't you stick it up, blah, 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 you dumb, blah, blah, blah. And that got Joel laughing. He was listening to the man and not the woman. I was listening to the woman. That's whenever you listen to the woman, you suffer. But people are very amped up. I got that from Matt Walsh shared that video on Twitter. It was shared by somebody else. Matt Walsh, the Daily Caller guy. No, Daily Wire guy. Former blogger. He was an independent blogger. Then he went to The Blaze. And then he went to Daily Wire. He's hit and miss. I like him on abortion and stuff like that. Pretty conservative guy, but kind of intellectual. So he goes up against Trump, and then he is a little too dismissive of the rights of the Groypers and the pro-white people. They have the rights as Americans, and he doesn't really defend that too much. He believes in the racism thing, I guess. But nice guy, hit or miss. Based AF America First guy says, yeah, Matt is hit or miss. But he really liked this guy. In the middle of it, he said, he flips the double bird. So, and I didn't blank that out because I'm not too good with video editing, but he flipped up his middle fingers against both of the women. I shouldn't laugh, right? I don't want to be like approving misbehavior, I guess, but I guess it's kind of called for. Nasty females, right? By the way, I have a little clip. Trump indeed did wear a mask, but he's worn a mask already before. They showed a picture of him wearing a mask. Well, they have more footage of him wearing a mask, in certain places where I guess he should. This was actually at Walter Reed Medical Center. I just show them clip 2A. Joel, this is Trump wearing a mask. Isn't it nice? At least he looks dignified. Look at that. Kind of. No, he does look dignified. I wonder what he's thinking, though. I wonder if he meant to be photographed like this. There's a whole lot of photographs being taken. You hear all that? Those are photographs. Crazy. But yes, that is him. He did wear a mask. But I mean, it's in Walter Reed Medical Center, isn't that the center where there's a lot of military members there, I think? And that's where he got checked up one time recently for him too, I think. By the way, I have photographs. Speaking of this COVID madness, people are so nasty. And I don't know, that man who is cussing at the women, I could picture a female talking like that, an old school female talking like that, woman talking like that at other men and women who are just trying to be all snooty and enforce this mask stuff on you. I walked up to the park recently. I told you guys about this. And I walked way around this father and son who were also they had just parked and they were walking into the park. I was walking too. I wasn't wearing a mask, they were. And this was like a month ago or more. And I walked way around them, social distancing. I didn't have my mask on, I had it in my pocket. It's a bandana. But I have it ready, but I didn't put it on at all. And then I hear the boy say something like, oh, he's not wearing a mask. And then I hear the father say, Yeah, he doesn't care about anybody else. He's selfish. Talk about a typical, like, female. But, you know, I presume that this man is a liberal, and he's raising his boy to be judgmental of other people. Never mind that I was very respectful, walked far around. I didn't say anything to the man. I didn't really want to attract attention. And then later on, within like a minute, less than a minute, really, like 10 seconds of that, I walk by, I'm way over on the other side of the wall, low wall from these people. And then I guess a couple was walking. I didn't really look. And then this woman is all, put on your flippin' mask or something like that to me. And I just ignored her, right? But nasty people, isn't anger and judgmentalism bad for your health? But those Beverly Hills liberals, they don't like freedom. They don't like, you know, they just listen to experts and think that they think that they're experts too. Judgmental, nasty people. But don't fall into the judgment against them too, right? I was traumatized by that. I haven't been back to that park. I go the other way. The common people are less snooty and hoity-toity. I remember after the mayor said, oh, you have to wear a mask. This happened like a few weeks ago, right? Even in public, even outdoors. I took a little walk, and more than half of the people that night or the night afterwards were not wearing masks. So that was nice to see. But it's so ridiculous. I have pictures of this 37-year-old, the late 37-year-old Trump supporter, rest in peace, an Army veteran who was fat, who died of the COVID. I have pictures of him and some of the posts that he put online on Facebook in the days and months leading up to his death, which he did not expect. The mainstream media hyped this man. He's younger than me, 37 years old. Now he's dead. But he was a Army veteran, 9 years in the Army. Served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Overweight, like you can see, you know, a bit fat. That's the only thing that his family says, look, he's wearing a mask. That was back in April. I don't know how effective that mask is. Those holes in there are pretty big, but whatever. It's like a dinosaur-looking weird mask. But he loved social media. I told you guys about this in the end of hour 2, I think. Maybe it was the end of hour 1. Where he got himself killed. He got sick. And he's like, I've been sick for a few days, guys. And the COVID symptoms. He got tested. Sure enough, he had it. He had just gotten a job. But he had to quarantine. And then he died. July 4th he died, I believe it was. And he had posted on Facebook back in April that he wasn't buying into the hype and wasn't going to buy a mask. And so the media is like dunking on him. Isn't that evil? Nasty, filthy people. They pretend like they're compassionate and stuff like that, but they're liberals. They don't have compassion. Not the real kind. They have the fake kind. Emotional. But they're judgmental, nasty, female-minded people. And so I appreciate, you know, it's an attack on men. It's an attack on the independent spirit. Yes, be careful, be safe, protect yourself. Don't be too dismissive of this stuff. There is a lot of hype. It's undeniable there's a lot of hype and fear-mongering. They want to shut the country down. This thing is out. I agree with this guy, Dick Masterson, who said, you know, why even close anything down? It is out. There's no stopping it. You know, if you want to protect other people, if you feel at all sick, that's when I think you're more catching when you do have symptoms than when you don't. I think that's what I read. But you can still spread it even if you don't have symptoms, right? So don't breathe on people. It's a shame. But yes, he did die. It is a serious thing. I know one guy who says that he had it. He says that he tested positive for it, and he thinks that it was manipulated because of I've told you guys this story before, because he caught all kinds of crazy things. Old injuries would seemingly reappear. his body aching, crazy fever, all this stuff. And lost his sense of taste and smell, which I guess is common for the flu or whatever. But it's not a total joke, right? There's something to it. If people actually cared, they wouldn't even go out. Or they would just go outside. Get your exercise. They want to prevent that. And you'll notice that the control freakish Democrats are the worst defenders of this stuff. Offenders. You know, people are so nasty and angry and mean at each other. You saw that in this clip by these judgmental females, and the man kind of defending himself and calling out these women for not having a life and spending their lives on the computers, also known as cell phones. It's so nasty. You know, before I get to the calls, but yeah, he should have taken better care of himself. And he should be wary and protective of his health. Yeah. Men are more likely to die than women. Women are more like overprotective, and men are less risk averse. Anyways, Roger Stone is out. Right on for that. I have a clip. It's a 4-minute clip, so bear with me, guys. Roger Stone, who was like an advisor for the Trump campaign last time around, 2016, and he's appeared on InfoWars. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times at least. We've all met him, I think, before over at Politicon because he showed up at events like that. And he has been a long time guy in politics, kind of a fighter, not necessarily politically correct, right? I guess. He was supportive of Nixon. Nixon is smeared in the mainstream media because he resigned after some type of controversy, right? But he is supportive of Trump, and he's right to be supportive of Trump. And Trump is supportive of him. He was, you know, after the Russia thing, amid the Russia thing, they went after him. I guess he was pretending like, right? That he was pretending like he had this insider back channel to WikiLeaks, right? WikiLeaks was putting out all this damaging information about the Democrat Party, the Hillary campaign, all kinds of horrific stuff coming out. And the media, instead of focusing on the horrific stuff coming out, they were focusing on, oh, WikiLeaks, they must be getting this from Russia. No evidence of that, I don't think. They haven't shown us any of that that I've seen, right? Maybe there is some, but I don't think so. I think it was an insider. I could be wrong. But anyways, Roger Stone was acting like, oh, there's more coming out. But it was after they said that there's more coming out. Stuff like that. But they went after him. You know, this phony Russia investigation. There was this conspiracy theory amongst the losers. Every time there's a loser, the loser is more likely to become a conspiracy theorist. You saw it with, you know, constantly the conservatives are suffering losses, and therefore they have more so-called conspiracy theorists and more quote-unquote, allegedly, right? More quote-unquote terror attacks because they're losing in the country. We're losing our country, right? And some people are freaking out about it and becoming what they hate, evil. Well, now Trump won, and so the liberals, the mainstream media, the Democrats, the RINOs, all conspiracy theorists. They believe that Trump couldn't have won without Putin's help. So ridiculous. Please. They bought like a few $1,000s worth of ads on Facebook as if that really sways people. Please. People just get excited and share stuff that helps their side. It doesn't necessarily mean they're changing their minds. For the most part, they're not, right? It's ridiculous. You can plainly see that there's one thing that Trump did that you have to appreciate, or you should, right? Or if you are not blind, you will. That Trump brought out the worst in these people, and he also brings out the best. He brings out what's really inside of people, seemingly. If you're a loyal person, he'll bring out your loyalty. If you're a disloyal person, he'll bring that out. He'll expose that. And the mainstream media, Don Lemon and all these people, they have had it rough because they can't handle him telling the truth. They're most angry about when he tells the truth, not when he quote unquote lies or exaggerates. They accuse him of that stuff because they're the liars. They're the deceivers pushing this fake idea, oh, racism is such a problem. Nope. So here is Roger Stone. His sentence was commuted by President Trump, I guess on Friday. I got this from Benny Johnson on Twitter. It's more than 4 minutes long, but listen to it closely. It's a nice clip. I don't know if everything that he says is true. I don't know much about Roger Stone, but I support him in supporting Trump and not turning his back on Trump like that rat, what's his name, Cohen? So right on to him. None of the establishment that hates him have a leg to stand on. They're upset that his sentence was commuted. Trump has commuted, 11 sentences? Or, let 11 people go free, while Obama let like 1,700 or more go free. He was letting all the criminals out of prison. Anyways, here is Roger Stone reacting to the commutation of his sentence by President Trump. I got this from Benny Johnson on Twitter. He's, sort of decent guy, hit and miss sometimes, I guess. But he got it from NBC News, right? NBC News. Here's Roger Stone. Clip 3, Joel.
Well, I was elated, obviously. I was somewhat relieved, but I was not surprised. I believe from the beginning, at the very beginning, at the time I was charged, you recall when 29 heavily armed FBI agents stormed my home in the pre-dawn hours of January 25th. Helicopter, they arrived in 17 armored units, frogmen jumping off their boats in the backyard, to arrest a 67-year-old man with no previous criminal record for white-collar process crimes. I can now tell you the cost to the taxpayers was $1.1 million.
Crazy.
All they had to do was call my lawyer, and I would have been more than happy to turn myself in, particularly given the ridiculously flimsy charges on which I was ultimately charged. For a year, I was surprised at the trial in D.C. because it was manifestly unfair. The judge denied me virtually every powerful line of defense, several of them unconstitutionally. The jury makeup included not a single Republican, not a single independent, not a single military veteran. It could have been the Bush-Obama administration Alumni Association meeting. We've also appealed the ruling on my conviction. So had I had a choice of a pardon or a commutation, I'm happy to have the commutation because I want to clear my name. I'm happy to fight it out, and I am happy to, I would like to win a new trial and vindication.
Would you have wanted a full pardon?
A full pardon requires the acceptance of guilt, and I'm not guilty of anything. Whereas a commutation allows your appeal to go forward so that you can have a new trial. So the president has said on numerous occasions that he thought there was a good chance I could be exonerated. I agree with that. But this is a horrific nightmare when you realize that this investigation never had any legitimate or lawful beginning. It was a witch hunt. There's no question about that. And the prosecutor in my case, Aaron Zelinsky, defrauded the courts, and he broke the law on numerous occasions. I'm going to be filing a formal complaint against him with the Office of Professional Misconduct at DOJ. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for giving me the offer. Thank you for saving my life, because I don't think at my age and in my medical condition I would have survived in a COVID-infested prison. And there's been 20 more cases of COVID found at that prison just in the last week. Also in the last week, the a violent sex criminal who was both a pedophile and a child pornographer was released from that prison to protect them from COVID. A second sex offender was released to protect them from COVID. And a bank robber was released to protect them from COVID.
Crazy, huh?
So I don't think, I was worried about my safety there. I was worried about my health. So the president has saved my life, and he's given me the opportunity to fight for vindication, to fight for my exoneration. I am going to do three things. I'm going to write a book, another book, about this experience, because people need to understand the extraordinary abuses in our judicial system. I am going to work as hard as I can to help General Flynn get exoneration, because the refusal of the judge in his case to dismiss his case and try to drag it through the summer is outrageous. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can on an independent basis to get the president reelected, which I think is crucial.
Yep. Right on to Roger Stone. I like how he argues his case. Isn't that interesting that they're letting all kinds of prisoners out of jail, criminals, actual criminals, and then what is this guy even supposedly guilty of? Did he lie to the FBI or something like that? Meanwhile, the FBI is constantly lying to us. They came up with hate crimes, and they're investigating hate crimes as if that's a real thing. No, it's not. Robert Mueller, who was running this so-called investigation, he wrote an op-ed because he's upset that Trump, and he's supposed to be a Republican, I heard. Talk about a rhino. He wrote an op-ed saying, Roger Stone remains a convicted felon, and rightly so. I think he wrote it in AP. I could be wrong. So he claims, without evidence, right? Or is there evidence? I don't know. I don't care. Because look at this. Look at that judge who was running his case. Wasn't it Amy Berman Jackson? Amy Berman Jackson, that Obama judge who's married to a black male, a liberal, who served in the Bush-Obama administration, I think. I forget. Bush and Obama administrations. Bunch of disgusting rhino establishment people who don't have any love for America are smearing and attacking Stone. And Stone, I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about him. I don't really care, but I do support the fact that he supports the president and that he sees, I think he appears to see that Trump being reelected is crucial for the country. Also crucial for the country is us returning to like morality, because then we can overcome anything, really. Right? That's true. They criticize Trump as being, it's perfectly legal for Trump to grant clemency to this guy, right? Commute his sentence. But they want to act like, this is a sign of corruption. It's very personally motivated. No, the attacks on Trump are very personally and politically motivated by people who hate him. And they'll go after any of his supporters and friends. They've shown that. They've gone after his family, of course, right? They do that with anybody that they hate. They did it. They went after that black man who was running for president in 2012, who was looking like he was a favorite for a little while. I'm blanking on his name. He ran a pizza place for a while and just a solid guy. Everybody loved him. And they went after him. He was a black Republican guy. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show at least once or twice, multiple times. And they went after him, accused him of having affairs with women, right? Not that they care about anybody having affairs. They just want to destroy the family and destroy the reputation of a decent man. There doesn't even have to be evidence of it, just somebody coming out and saying it. Meanwhile, I've heard stories of people accusing Obama of weird stuff, but that's not publicized because the media loves Obama. They love evil. Crazy. I heard, there's these Drudge headlines. He goes where Nixon was not willing in commuting this Roger Stone sentence. Clemency came after displays of loyalty. Well, right on. He should be loyal. The president is loyal to, I think he is, right? I mean, people say, he fired General Michael Flynn. But I don't know. I think of Trump as being consistently loving to the country, and the people who also love the country have been he's been defending them, at least vocally and with moral support, if not using his presidential powers. Yeah, Herman Cain was that guy who the media sleazy people went after. Yeah, they hate anybody who's about the truth. That's why they hate Tucker Carlson. I'm going to get to Tucker Carlson soon. Well, there's a writer, a decent man, seemingly, to me, who was a top writer, according to the CNN, for Tucker Carlson. I'm going to get to that maybe in this hour, maybe I'm thinking at the top of the second hour, really. I want to get to some calls and some super chats and stuff. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson and Asmodor for hosting the show. Shout out, by the way, to Hot Computer Smell. I shared it on my YouTube community post. She did a little drawing of me, and it said #1 hair, because it became a meme after this black dude, this amped up, high energy black dude, called into the Jesse Lee Peterson show and said, "It's not Joel, it's Joel." And he said that I have the best hair on the internet, and he loves Jesse, and I think he likes Nick. And I don't think Chris was here yet, but I would love to hear what he thinks about Chris. But he said that I have the best hair on the internet, and so now it became a meme. I have #1 hair. And now there's naysayers saying, oh, but look at his hairline and stuff like that. Whatever.
Oh, hell, Donald Trump. I don't care what nobody say.
That's him. That's from his call. But it was very nice. She did one for Jesse Lee Peterson last week. Put it out on D Live as well as YouTube. Hot Computer Smell. Look her up. Check it out. Thank you to Hot Computer Smell for that. It's a T-shirt idea, I hear. I am interested, Hot Computer Smell, in selling that on a T-shirt. Hake #1 hair. It's cool. Had me in sunglasses. And that's accurate. It's the kind of sunglasses I like to wear. Right on. I don't know how she saw that. Maybe she's seen it in social media pictures. Anyways, Mo Betta Stand Up gave a Ninjagini and said, will activists ban Spanish, French, Italy language since every noun in a sentence is gender-oriented? It's a good question. That's why they came up with the term Latinx instead of Latino or Latina. Latinx. Crazy. Yeah, there is this guy. I may get to him. There's this guy who he goes by the name Lady Maga, and he did this appeal to Nick Fuentes, Jesse Lee Peterson, Bryson Gray, and others. Give me the right to stand with conservatives, because he's a drag queen. Openly, brazenly homosexual. I think he thinks he's a Christian too. Anyways, I may touch on that too later this show. Mo Betta Stand Up gave a diamond and said, did Dan Snyder Amsalam, Jewish, hates Native America? We are Native America, right? Dan Snyder is the owner, and I didn't know that he had a hyphenated last name. Amsalam is the owner of the Washington Redskins. I think that's Washington, D.C. specifically, right? Am I wrong? I think I'm right. And the Redskins are a National Football League team, and the NFL, National Football League, is a horrific organization. They hate America. They used to be maybe at one point pro-America. I don't know. But they are brazenly anti-men, anti-America, anti-baby, because they have these pink things. Pink, they make the players wear pink socks or let them wear pink clothing, and supports Komen for the Cure, which supports Planned Parenthood, supposedly to cure breast cancer, right? And yet they support abortion, which is linked with breast cancer. You do the math, right? But Dan Snyder owns a football team called the Washington Redskins, which is a reference to the great, dignified, tough Indians, American Indians, that is, right? Some people try to call them Native Americans, which is a misnomer, right? They're American Indians. Some people call them indigenous people, right? Because they were supposedly the first people here, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but they were here when the people who became Americans came over. And we made deals with them. We fought them off. Some of them were savages, vicious people. So we fought a lot of them off. And we took over the continent, this part of the continent anyway, that became America. And people call that genocide because they're lame. They're not men. They don't think like men. They don't think like, this is reality. You hate Mother Nature. Mother Nature says, like, survival of the fittest, right? I thought these people believed in evolution. Survival of the fittest? No, I guess though they're doing this high-minded takeover, which is really low-minded, evil takeover of the country by spreading evil and lies and pushing around the whites who have been caving, made a business of caving. And this Dan Snyder guy, apparently he's not a white Christian, I don't know. He said at one point that he would never change the Redskins name. Supposedly it is, there's some Indian activists who feel like that's an insult to the American Indians to call your team the Redskins. We're not a mascot. Whatever. Yes, you are. Anyways, whatever. You're not the type of tough people that the Redskins represent. The Redskins represent tough people. I have pictures of the Redskins players, and they look pretty tough. But now they're going to be, and it has this Indian chief, the profile of him, looking all dignified, but the undignified Indians are calling it hate. This is a racial slur, and they reference the dictionary as a racial slur. The dictionary is fake news. The dictionary claims without evidence that the term redskin is a racial slur. There's a picture of Dan Snyder in 2018 wearing the Redskins paraphernalia. Yeah, he doesn't support, he hates quote-unquote Native America, meaning real America. Loves money more than standing on principle, I guess. FedEx and a bunch of others are caving to pressure, getting rid of American history, really. Getting rid of American culture. Such a shame. And they're not going to stop there. They're going to get rid of they're just not, the evil is not going to stop. Joni Maverick says, hope you feel better, Hake. Thank you. I do. Not 100%, but just got to keep working. Mobetta Stand Up says, Joel and Sniper Armitage, more than 2, want an outro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hot Computer Smell says 3 hours to make up for yesterday, JK. Glad you're okay. Thank you, Hot Computer Smell. Jib Jab says, so. Yes. If Jenny Crosby says, Marcus Jones needs to pay Jesse rent on the double. Interesting. Adam Clark says, hey, dude, thought you should know Gavin McInnes did a video showing how the NFAC, not blanking around coalition, is a bunch of actors and Instagram models. Interesting, huh? Interesting, yeah. My stream health is orange, but I don't know. It looks okay. Press 1 if the stream is okay. Press 2 if it's bad. Press 3 if it's a little choppy at times. Looks like it's okay, I guess. My viewer count on YouTube is jumping up and down. But anyways, thank you guys for the support, for the super chats. Let me quickly get to some callers. I want to get to Bible Go-To Guy out of Los Angeles, California. Bible Go-To Guy, thanks for holding. What's up? Hey, Bob, hold on. He's not ready. It sounds like he's listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show while on hold with me. Thank you, Nick, for checking on him. Let me get to my second favorite caller who's been on hold, Earl from Michigan. How you doing, Earl?
Hola, buenos dias, Senor James Hake.
Thank you. Same to you.
I guess I have to deal with you because your boss is a scaredy cat. He was afraid to talk to me, but
not
that's
true.
Okay.
Not true.
Oh, you can tell the truth.
No, I can tell the truth. I think maybe he's just kind of bored of you.
Yeah, that's why.
It's kind of you're kind of you're kind of empty and shallow, like me. So I like talking to you. I like talking to you because I'm empty and shallow myself. But Jesse likes to talk about real stuff. Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, Jesse likes to talk full of hot air. He likes to talk about stuff he makes up.
No, I would say I have the hot air given how hot it gets in this studio.
You all should believe him. He tells you he's black and slow, and y'all.
Anyways, Earl, enough of your female attacks on Jesse Lee Peterson when he's not here. How about you get to your topic?
Enough of your female criticism. The things I was going to talk about, I have to talk about with Jesse because you weren't around, so you have no comment about it because you have no reference of it. So I was going to compare, George Floyd situation with something that happened in Jesse and our past. But that has to be addressed to Jesse, somebody who claims he was there.
Sounds right.
You talk about, by the way, I'd like to have your callers look up a video about taking down, I think the names of a school, Robert E. Lee, I think in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Such a disgrace, huh?
Joel's neck of the woods. You should know something about that. But
what a disgrace, huh? The attacks on Robert E. Lee, who's more honorable than anybody who wants to take him down.
Well, to a disturbed psychopath, I guess it would be.
That's funny, Earl.
That you can equate Robert Lee's lifestyle and defense as something honorable.
Definitely.
Somebody can say Jeffrey Dahmer's honorable if they believe what he does. So it don't make no. It all depends.
I mean,
on what
you guys support Democrats, so please, and present day Democrats. The Democrats of back then were nice. Like Andrew Jackson, he seemed like a solid guy.
They were nice.
Yeah, they were. They were better than nice. They were honorable.
That's how stupid you are.
They were heavily influential in the expansion of the country, which is great. Right on.
They were all about like you are today, even though you're Republican. That's why being Republican or Democrat is transitory. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it means something. Yeah, if you're a Democrat today, you're anti-American. You just are. It's facts.
They were interested in promoting their white agenda. Things that was.
I mean, you can call it that, whatever. Is there something wrong with being white and having an agenda?
That was it. It was an all-white party about all white men, about all white interests.
Earl, is there something wrong with that?
Don't tell me that nonsense.
Hey, Earl, is there something wrong with that?
I didn't say it was wrong with it.
Is there something wrong with it?
To me, it's something wrong with it.
What?
But
what's wrong with it?
That's what you because it meant denying other folks their rights and civility and everything to promote theirs.
Is that your excuse? Is that your excuse? Hold on. Is that your excuse for supporting the attack on whites today?
No, that's not an excuse. That's just telling the facts as they are.
No, that's not really facts as they are because hey, Earl, be quiet.
Let me.
No. When I say, hey, that's an indication that you have to be quiet. I almost said the B word. Not the bad B word, but the one that gets blacks really mad when a white man calls a black man this, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to be too loose with my tongue, right? He said that it was bad for the other races, for the whites to advance this white country, this great white country called America. But yet they benefit from America from those people's actions, including Robert E. Lee, including Andrew Jackson. Look at all the people that live in Florida. That's thanks in part to Andrew Jackson. And Florida's a great place for the most part. You know, it's hit and miss because the people are becoming more and more degenerate. And they support that. But Andrew Jackson greatly supported the expansion of the country, which means more room to play for us. And we've tried to be pretty nice, actually, to the Indians. And by trying to be nice, we just get accused of more and more, you need to be nicer. Ridiculous. So, anyways, Earl, it's been a great benefit to you that those white men, including
somebody, some child that don't know any better. I live longer than you. I know more than you do, boy. So don't give me this
You can call me that, but I can't call him that. But whatever. I don't want to call him that.
And so
I don't want to be disrespectful. So Earl,
you don't know anything.
Yeah, but you're not really wise. You know, you're old, but you're not wise. Because look at this.
No,
you don't even hold on.
No, you're foolish.
Hold on.
You're a foolish young kid.
That's fine.
That try to promote himself out of smart and don't know nothing.
Whatever.
You just know
I am kind of smart.
Your fringe element
Earl,
want to talk about.
You don't even want to support this Independence Day. You pretend that Independence Day was not for blacks. And it was a benefit to blacks ultimately. It was, hold on, Earl. It was a benefit Hold on. He was about to say Juneteenth. Earl, you're on hold. Nobody hears you. Independence Day was a great benefit to blacks, and you'll notice that the blacks with any sense do celebrate Independence Day. Unlike this one.
Free in 1776.
Who cares? You're free today, and that's thanks. Hold on.
It was the difference. Was my people free in 1776?
I don't know.
So
I don't know. Your people are degenerates.
As much as you.
Your people are not. Your people. Hold on.
Your right racist ideology.
Your people are not the slaves of back then. The slaves of back then were Christians, and you're not.
Oh no, you call Christians anybody that was. You can call Christians anything.
The point is, Earl, the point is that, hold on, man. The point is that Independence Day laid the foundation for you to be free today. Without Independence Day, you would not be free today. Now.
I'm saying the reality of it was...
you don't know reality?
When Frederick Douglass questioned them on why aren't we free, why aren't the rest of us free, along with you all? And they had no answer for it. So you can make up all this, and eventually y'all got free and everything was fine. But in 1776, we weren't.
Hey, Earl, here's a little hint. You said reality was. Reality isn't was. Reality is. So you don't want to live in reality. Reality is present day.
Stop making up stuff you know nothing about.
No, you're the one making up stuff. You act like a perpetual loser victim. And you don't even have any love for America.
But when you try to rewrite history,
anyways, I gotta go.
Amenable to yourself. I ain't going for that. I know better than you.
No, you don't.
You know.
No.
And by the way, you talked about Stone.
Yeah, Roger Stone.
Yeah. The fact that you don't know loyalty to the president, your loyalty to the Constitution and the law.
Oh, please. Please, that's rich coming from a Democrat. Hey, Earl.
For Flynn and everybody else who violate the law and so forth. And that's why the judge, Emmett Sullivan, wants the whole appeals court to hear Flynn's case.
Yeah, so ridiculous. Emmett,
it's fact.
Yeah, so silly. Anyways, man, nice to hear from you. Take care, man.
Yeah, nice to hear from you. even though we disagree.
Right on.
You're still a crown. Goodbye.
Bye. Let me see if Baba Go-To Guy is ready in Los Angeles, California. Baba Go-To Guy, what's up?
Born ready, sir.
Nice.
Hey, James. It's funny how Earl puts down everything the white man has done, but he uses the Constitution.
I know.
which was designed by white men exclusively. There was no white women. There was no black people. There was no Asians. There was no anybody. The greatest government documents in history were written exclusively by white men. Now, and nobody has ever equaled that feat. They don't even copy.
Well, I mean, the problem is that it's like gone now. It's like mostly gone now. It hasn't really endured because, as they predicted, the people have become immoral, and freedom is for moral people. And so, you know, the most immoral people are the least free people.
Yep. Hey, you know, when you were first mentioning Roger Stone way back then, way back in the beginning of your show.
Yeah.
Great opening, by the way, man. You had the best opening.
Appreciate it. Didn't you like that white man?
I really make sure to tune into the beginning of the show because it amps me up.
Nice.
Now, look at Roger Stone. I knew from his opening remarks, Roger Stone's opening remarks, when he described how they came after a 67-year-old frail man. And he's not a 67-year-old strong man. He's frail.
He used to be a bodybuilder, I think.
Who had no prior convictions, right? And on a white collar issue, they send out armed.
I know, it's like a SWAT team.
Jacketed people like they're going after a dang insurrectionist armed rebellion or something.
And CNN caught it on camera. They were tipped off by the CNN caught it on camera. They were tipped off by the deep state.
yeah, and the liberal media was there. Everybody was there. It was amazing. That alone, I don't need to know any of the facts of the case. That alone tells me that their whole case is bogus.
Yeah, it's all posturing and drama. Yeah, that's true. And you know what Earl mentioned about loyalty? If you hate Trump, you hate the country. You just do. Because Trump loves the country. And you can maybe disagree with you can definitely disagree with certain things, right? If you do, right? There's, a bunch of things that maybe he listens to Jared Kushner too much or whatever. Or he supports the LGBT stuff too freely, maybe. And all that. But there's no question that he did this because he loves America and he's still fighting for it. And that's what I appreciate about him. So on.
Because he knows America is so unique.
Yeah.
What other country in the world has enshrined that the citizen has a right to keep and bear arms? What other country in the world has even close to it?
Yeah.
None. Nobody.
And free speech, but people don't have the spirit of the freedom of speech anymore. So they don't, even though it's on the books, de facto, we don't have it. Because people don't support it. People don't.
Well, free speech is not for cowards,
right?
And the white people in this country have become a bunch of cowards.
Unfortunately.
And so freedom of speech, yes, and so freedom of speech has disappeared.
I look forward. I look forward to hearing Tucker talk today because he's going to have he's going to comment on the scalping, meaning they took out his top writer, allegedly, right? According to CNN.
I heard about that. I can't wait to see what he says.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about some of the things that he's quoted as saying and what CNN says about it and what the Fox News so-called president and, the PR type of people at Fox News who just they don't really stand on the spirit of the freedom of speech. They are cowards. They kiss up to the fake ideas of racism and sexism, and it's a shame. But that's reality. It's nice to know reality, right? So,
yes,
that's cool, Baba Go-To Guy. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Let me quickly get to first-time caller Richard in Kentucky. I think I've talked to Richard before, but maybe not on this show. Richard, thank you for holding. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well?
Yeah, I've been a fan of you and Jesse for a while now, and the other day I talked to an alt-right guy that gave me some information that I'd never heard before.
Speak up for me,
And,
Richard. Stay close to your phone and speak up loud and clear.
Can you hear me better now?
It's a little better, yeah.
I've been a fan of yours and Jesse's for a while now,
Yeah.
and I met an alt-right guy the other day, and he gave me some information that I didn't know, and I was wanting to see what your thoughts were on it.
Okay. Let me know what it is.
Basically, he was saying how the left and the right are both controlled by the Jews, and their agenda is to get rid of white people and replace them with women and blacks
Yeah.
because they're more easily manipulated.
In short, so that is what he told you?
Yeah, basically.
In short, I mean, that's kind of, it seems like it's true. I don't see that he's wrong about that. They're really controlled by evil. People are becoming more and more controlled by evil. And they're the people that are leading the useful idiots, and the people leading the useful idiots are also useful idiots for evil, leading other ones. They're more, whatever, they have a lot of influence and stuff like that, and cleverness, slyness, shrewdness like a serpent. And that's true.
It was making me think about how, like, the left whole, like, idea is, like, if you claim victimhood, then you get, like, special treatment. And then it made me think about, like, that's, like, the Jews' whole MO. It's, like, claiming victimhood from World War II and shit.
He's cussing. Man, the left-right thing, people want to dismiss the left-right as the same thing. And, when you're a party of RINOs, you're supposed to de-radicalize people, James.
It's like, that's why they don't have Trump's back or anything.
Yeah. When you're a party of RINOs, Republicans in name only, which the Republican Party is. I mean, look at who's in charge, who's running the Republican Party. At one point, several years ago, or 10 or 12 years ago, it was this black dude, Michael Steele, who's a RINO. He was the chairman of the GOP, the grand old party, the Republicans. And today, it's Ronna McDaniel, and she's the niece of Mitt Romney. And honestly, even though she's a little better than Mitt Romney at times, she is a RINO too. She kisses up to the phony idea of racism. She smeared that guy, Steve of Iowa.
Woman runs
Steve
the
King.
Republican Party now?
Yes, a female. And she is a kissing up to the POCs. And it's all because they are cowards, like you said, controlled opposition, really. And so there's people who tell the truth, like Steve King, about preserving Western civilization and English only and things like that. Build the Wall, Congressman Steve King of Iowa, a Republican. And he was telling the truth, and he was punished for telling the truth. They smeared him as saying, as defending white supremacy and white nationalism along with Western civilization. Even if that were true, he has the right to do it, but they don't want to defend people's rights. They don't want to defend the whites' rights. The whites are the most marginalized people, especially the whites who are pro-white.
We're the most productive and the most accurate representation of God that there is. And
but not anymore. But yes, that kind of is true, because most of us are voting more conservative, more fighting to preserve our country, more about the actual freedom of speech, more about the actual Second Amendment, more about actual Christianity as opposed to this fake social justice Christianity. So it's true.
You said that they're not now, and I think you're right about that. And what I think is can help with that is if people wake up and realize that we've been brainwashed by the Jews to hate ourselves.
You can say that. I mean, that stuff does help a little bit, but you'll notice that a lot of those guys that are on that kick, they're on this kick about what the Jews are doing. They're not really looking at themselves. Some of them are trying to get better in life. They're exercising, they're abstaining from the degenerate pleasures of the world and stuff like that. But more than any bit of information like that, because that's not going to really red pill you. That's not going to really bring you red pill, meaning like seeing reality as it is. You'll learn stuff, and it's nice to know this stuff, but so much bigger than that is the spiritual aspect. You have to return to like what's right, and once you do that, then you're naturally not going to be brainwashed to hate yourself. You'll see reality as it is without having to delve into this intellectual learning, because there's a lot of whites who are turning atheist, or they're turning angry, and because they'll turn atheist because they'll say, oh, Christianity is cucked, they're betraying white people, turning the other cheek, meaning, and what they mean by turning the other cheek is letting people roll over you. But that's not what Christianity really is. So they're turning angry and turning away from what's right in thinking that they're fighting the enemy. In reality, they're helping the enemy, because they have turned into this, instead of fighting evil, they're fighting Jews or whatever. So, so the evil is getting into them too.
The reason I bring it up is not because I care specifically about Jews. It just seems like in the way the world is today, they are the ones that are behind most of the crap going on in our country today.
They're among those. They're among those, and they're influential people. So they're like leading the way. But the people, you have to blame the people who are accepting it, man. You have to blame both, and you have to like live your own life. You have to be an example so that people can turn around from it. Just being a loser who's just into like the internet and spreading these facts is not the way to fight evil. You have to become perfect yourself so that you're not part of this pot smoking, pornography, staying at home, not having a job, and all that stuff. You have to overcome it.
Yeah, I guess my question is like, how can we bridge the gap between what you're saying and like what I'm talking about, to where, because basically what I'm saying is the only reason I was able to accept and listen to what the alt-right had to say was because I did what you were saying, was improving myself as a person and being aware of my own brainwashing. So I don't know how to red pill people without freaking them out, but think I'm like a neo-Nazi.
That shouldn't be your concern, red pilling people.
Well,
you want to, because you have to, if you're a living example, that's what wakes people up. And then you're going to naturally just tell the truth, and you'll say it in the right way. And you won't you won't like freak out over the destruction of the country and like alienate people, because you will. I mean, yeah, some of them will be alienated, but you're trying to it sounds like you're trying to play God, like how do I play it right so that they will wake up, when it's not your say whether who wakes up and who doesn't. You know what I mean? So I think your concern should be for like following God rather than red pilling people.
Yeah, I mean,
because otherwise you're not going to.
Ultimately, for me, but my thing is like you said about freaking out about the destruction of the country.
I'm over the break.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Anyways, Richard, are you doing the silent prayer that Jesse Lee Peterson recommends?
Yeah, I do it every day.
Right on, man. Anyways, I appreciate it. I gotta go.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you hadn't heard that before. But anyways,
right.
Take care, Richard. It's good to hear from you. And good luck.
You too, bud.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to take a quick break, at least like a 2-3 minute song, and then I'll be back, guys. I got calls to get to. I got more stuff to cover. I want to cover this this attack on Tucker Carlson's former top writer, and whites are being punished for self-defense. The laws are against you, so just be aware of it, right? It's crazy. I think I'll jump over to this Blake Neff guy. He seems like an okay guy. I'll do that after the break. Hang on. We got, 50 minutes? A little bit more than 50 minutes to go. I'll be right back, guys. Hang tight. I am back, guys. What's up? Nick Get the Phones says Earl has a feminine beta voice. He nice. Referring to my recent caller, Earl from Michigan. Gorgonzola gave a diamond and said, this Hake's house. Philosopher gave a diamond and a bunch of subscriptions. Thank you. Right on. Congrats to Alpine Sparrow and Puppeteery and Jonathan Gomez is 3-1 something. First, last, and a bunch of you guys. And thank you to Mo Betta. Stand up for the Ninjet. Whoa. Dang. Checking out for a while. Wait for the anti-USA/foreign agents to stop the DNS and call spamming the JLP crew. Faith equals Jesus. You are in termite target sites now. Frowny face. Interesting. No, I know Richard from Kentucky, if you're referring to that caller as being a bad person. Incoming tasteless joke says based AF America First says, why would Biden choose Tammy Duckworth as his VP? She can't run away when he starts grabbing her. You know, these women, they like it. They like him sniffing their hair and massaging them and stuff like that. They do. They think, I mean, look at these women. They fall for that stuff. Typical, what is it called? Politician stuff. Just ingratiating themselves through touch. You just melt in his touch. That's what the women feel like, apparently. Adam Clark says, hey, dude, thought you should. Oh, no, he said that already. Appreciate that. Again, Adam Clark, about Gavin McInnes doing a video showing the black nationalists being a bunch of actors and Instagram models. So he claims. I don't know. Appreciate that. Marcus Jones Stinks gave a super chat and said, the sun is racist since it turns my skin red. Isn't that just like a woman? He's joking around, right? But it reminds me of these women who think that it's, reproductive slavery, that after they have sex and they conceive, they're forced to carry and bear that child. Ridiculous. Females. I mean, the ones who support abortion, they hate Mother Nature. They hate God. They hate their own bodies. It's their bodies that God made that's creating, that's developing that child from the man. But they hate men. They hate men's children. And it's so disgusting how people hate and dehumanize babies. I got that from him saying the sun is racist since it turns my skin red. Mother Nature and God are sexist since women bear the children. John X15 gave a super chat that says, the lib white is the ringleader of all evil, the liberal white. Quote unquote white. Sometimes they are white. Sometimes they talk about, oh, my fellow whites, they are such horrible people. Yeah, Alicia George says, love that shirt, James. Yes, I got this shirt from the Jesse Lee Peterson Teespring store. It says, your daddy didn't leave you. He left your mama. JesseLeePeterson.com with Jesse's face, courtesy of Lock Your Door. And on the back, it says, don't be mad. See that? Cool, huh? Very nice design. Thank you to Lock Your Door. Right on, man. Appreciate the cool designs. And Hot Computer Smell, get in touch with me. I want to see about getting that #1 hair design on a t-shirt, since she did call it a t-shirt idea. I'm going to get to your calls. Hang tight. But first, I want to talk about this Blake Neff guy. CNN covered this, Drudge, Mediaite, Fox News, I think. Tucker's top writer, Tucker Carlson, the #1 show on cable television like ever, I think. He replaced Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly, I believe, I hold, was unjustly outed because, booted from his spot. He was the #1 cable television host for like 2 decades or something like that. And, a lot of you guys have your criticisms of him, but he was a boomer who was just about being fair. In some cases, you might say, "Oh, that's taking the fairness joke too far." But he was a man, and because he was a man, he got the boot. They'd been gunning for him for a long time. And so now they're after Tucker Carlson, who has taken his spot and more than filled his shoes. Been a solid guy. You know, maybe you could say just stuff that he says is just so right. More right even in some cases than Bill O'Reilly. But maybe not as tough and old school and not taking nonsense, because Bill O'Reilly is just a sort of grumpy, and I like that. Tucker Carlson could stand to be a little less friendly sometimes, I guess. But anyways, this top writer, meaning he wrote, like the first draft, for example, of Tucker's opening statements, oftentimes, maybe always, who knows? According to him, right? According to quotes in this CNN article. For being a normal, honest person, now he's gone. CNN headline, Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in an online forum. And I will be showing you pictures of him in a sec. Hang tight. But just let me share this stuff with you. Media headline, horrendous is the quote. Fox News condemns racist, sexist remarks made by Tucker Carlson's top writer in an internal memo. And that internal memo leaked to the media, of course, right? Here's some excerpts from the CNN article. Just this week, meaning last Friday, right? The writer, Blake Neff, last Thursday or Friday, I think it was Thursday, I forget. Blake Neff responded to a thread, this is Blake Neff, responding to a thread in an online forum that he has the total right to do, and it's on his own time, I think, that another user in 2018 wrote with the subject line. This other user says, would you let a jet black Congo N-word do LASIK eye surgery on you for 50% off? Neff wrote, I wouldn't get LASIK from an Asian for free, so no. So he responded to this guy who's used the N-word in this thing, right? And they're talking about not trusting POCs with eye surgery on your eyes. LASIK. Laser, that's when they clear up your vision. The subject line was not censored in the forum. Of course it wasn't, because this is a free speech forum. June 5th, Neff wrote, black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down, says Neff. Kind of funny statement. On June 24th, Neff commented, honestly, given how tired black people always claim to be, maybe the real crisis is their lack of sleep. On June 26th, I guess this was this year, right? Neff wrote that the only people who care about changing the name of the NFL's Washington Redskins are white libs and their university quote-unquote educated pets, which is true. In a recent article in the Dartmouth Alumni magazine, Neff said, anything Carlson is reading off the teleprompter, the first draft was written by me. Interesting, huh? He also acknowledged the show's influence, telling the magazine, we're very aware that we have the power to sway the conversation, so we try to use it responsibly. And that they did, and do, so far that I've seen. Right on to him. And so what if he posted not politically correct statements? So what? When asked in a 2018 appearance on the Fox's The Five about the writing process for his show, Tucker Carlson said he spends hours working on scripts, but referred to Blake Neff, by name, saying he was a wonderful writer, which it sounds like he was, or is, and acknowledging his assistance. And Carlson credited Neff in the acknowledgments of his book, Ship of Fools, for providing research. In the acknowledgments, Carlson said that Neff and two others who helped with the book work on and greatly improve our nightly show on Fox. And that's true. And look at this guy. He looks like a typical journalist writer. Who knew that he was a conservative? That's cool. You know, young guy, sort of receding hair. There he is on a hike. And a fun life. Looks pretty young, actually. While working on Fox News and while a reporter at the Daily Caller, Blake Neff, was a frequent poster on this forum called Auto-Admit, also known as XOXOHTH, whatever that is. Relatively unmoderated message board like 4chan aimed at lawyers and law school students, in which racism and sexism run rampant. And they give dumb examples from the 2007 and earlier, unrelated to this guy. Blake Neff, who posts on that board under the username Charles the 12th, is widely revered on the forum, with many posters knowing that this person behind the account, Charles the 12th, works on Carlson's show. He wrote about some Asian woman back in 2015. He must have been pretty young back then. Mocking her with friends he was on Facebook. He was friends with her on Facebook. And he described as an Asian, A-Z-N, mega shrew. Meaning probably a liberal, I don't know. Here's the headline. But looks like he liked nature, that's cool. Green Bay Packers t-shirt. Seems like a nice guy. But he posted about this Asian woman. Maybe it could be considered ill-advised, but if he's this young in these pictures, he must have been, I don't know how old he is, but whatever. People have the right to be immature sometimes, right? And this woman posted on Facebook, public, I think. But in his first post in 2015, starting a years-long thread, he explained that through circumstances he couldn't quite recall, he became Facebook friends with the woman and thought her posts about dating were quite amusing. Interesting. Yeah, people posting about their dating life is amusing. So I thought I'd post them, Neff wrote. I wouldn't put up a pic, but it's probably relevant to say that she's a slightly overweight Asian woman who is in her mid-30s and definitely looks it. Another woman had posted, whom he knows, had posted, probably not this woman, but I don't know, had posted, I'm showing pictures of him, Joel is showing pictures of him and some of his friends, I guess, or classmates. Another woman had posted about freezing her eggs. You know, because these women get into this brainwashing about getting schooling and getting your career together and then having kids when you're like in your mid-30s, all late, when it's healthier to have them in your teen years or early 20s. So he found that worth deriding on Auto-Admit forum, which is worth deriding, freezing your eggs. He began posting about her in March of this year in a thread he titled Disaster, Wu Flu, Outbreak, Endangers Aging Shrews Quest to Freeze Eggs. He posted to the thread, which racked up dozens of comments as users ridicule the woman. As recently as June 28th. So what? So what? No worse, no better happens on Twitter every day from liberals against conservatives. And men, they're deriding this man too. This socialist guy, communist guy who came on the Fallen State one time. He's the cousin of Cenk Uygur. Talked about this guy, made fun of how he looks because he is a little bit, sort of funny looking. He's not fit necessarily, at least not in his photographs that are available online. And he has like receding hair, even though he's young. And this guy, evil guy, who's a commie, I'm blanking on his name, but he's Jesse Lee Peterson interviewed him, and he's referred to by the girls as woke bae, because he's like one of the few far left liberals who's actually like strong looking. And I mean like he's a full blown commie. This guy made fun of like what's happening to the decline of whites. You know, how we're a shrinking population and all that stuff. On this forum, Neff also expressed bigoted views, according to CNN. In 2014, he joked about foodie F-words, which is a word for gays, homosexuals, right? So what? And in the same year, he started a thread titled Urban Business Idea. He didn't do muffin, which is a pun on he didn't do nothing or nothing. He didn't do nothing, because a lot of blacks, after they're caught doing crimes, they'll say, I didn't do nothing. And so it became a slang term, and people call it racist, even though blacks are the ones who were responsible for creating their own stereotype. Sandra Bland's sugar-free shortbreads is another idea he had. In August 2019, a user started a thread titled, "We should just buy Canada and kick the Canadians out." And Neff commented, "Okay, but what do we do about the millions of Chinese people?" Which is a valid question. A bunch of them are liberals. They're not loyal to America. They hate white people, especially the more educated ones, meaning indoctrinated. More recently, February 2020, Neff called Mormonism an inherently cucky religion, meaning they betray what's right in favor of what's evil. And that's true if you look at the way that they didn't support Trump, many of them, because they were, I don't know, either they have this self-righteous kick or something with, they couldn't see past his moral failings in the past with his past wives or whatever, or they think, oh, he's not politically correct. A lot of the Mormons supported Mitt Romney. And, you know, I've supported Mitt Romney. I'm not Mormon. But look at Mitt Romney now. He's such an evil person, such a betrayer of what's right. And Mitt Romney, too, was running his mouth about Roger Stone. That's how you know you should be supporting. If you support anybody in this fight between Roger Stone and the establishment, you should support a little bit more Roger Stone and Trump than the establishment, who are all hoity-toity about this thing. So he was right about Mormonism. You know, the Utah is not necessarily pro-Trump, but Trump is very pro-America. He's for them, but they can't see that. Interesting, huh? We thought that Mormons were, you know, as solid families, but I guess the men are not as solid as we thought. It's what's happening with the whites, right? On June 5th, a user in the forum commented on a thread, "Didn't Michael Brown rob a store and attack a police officer? And wasn't George Floyd a piece of blank, SH blank, with a long criminal record? JFC, libs." That's short for kind of like taking the Lord's name in vain or whatever. Another person commented, "It doesn't matter to these people." And Neff then replied, "It does. The violent criminals are even more heroic." And that seems to be true. The worse the person is, the more of a hero's funeral or whatever they get. It seems to be true. On June 16th, the user started a separate thread about a video showing a black man assaulting an elderly white woman in New York. Neff commented on the thread, "And to think, if this guy got killed in some freak accident while being arrested, we'd have to endure at least 3 funerals in his honor." These are supposed to reflect negatively on Blake Neff. They make me think pretty well of him. He told the truth about anti-white hate. May 27th, Neff wrote about Representatives AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib, known collectively as the Squad by the stupid liberals. And he said, "They want to make your country a dumping ground for people from third world SH holes. SH blank holes, right?" And that's true. They do. In fact, they're part of that. Responding to a thread on June 27th about whether whites fear what's going to happen to them in 10 to 20 years, Neff wrote that he has no plans to stay in the country that long. Wow. I don't know if I agree with him on that. I wouldn't run away. But who knows, right? He has the right to think that way. In December 2019, he said that once Democrats have the majorities to go full F Whitey, F-U Blake, right? F Whitey, things are going to get really wacky really quickly. And that's true. You know, we're already seeing it. Whites are not allowed to even defend themselves. Like, what is the reason for them searching the home of that couple in St. Louis, Missouri, who pulled the guns to defend it against any would-be home invaders who were in the Black Lives Matter marching through their private property? I think they were on private property. I could be wrong. Anyways, he said he argued at the time that there are a large minority of whites who are fully supportive of the F Whitey agenda. And that's true. And that there's a suicidal impulse to Western peoples that honestly feels almost biological in origin. I don't know if this man's a Christian, but he's saying stuff that's basically like normal stuff, but it's not mainstream, so it's considered shocking. So here's a Mediaite article which Fox News is run by coward feminists. Here's a quote from the Fox News media CEO, Suzanne Scott, a woman, and President Jay Wallace wrote in this memo, yesterday, we learned that now former employee Blake Neff, a writer on Tucker Carlson Tonight, made horrendous and deeply offensive, racist, sexist, and homophobic comments under a pseudonym on the forum Auto-Admit. The Fox executive said that neither the network nor Tucker Carlson Tonight was aware of the writer's abhorrent conduct on this forum. It's not abhorrent. It's just that's how normal people write. It really is. We want to make abundantly clear, especially young people, right? Especially young whites who have been mercilessly under attack. And he looks like he's younger than me, I would say. And so the younger the whites, the more mercilessly they've been falsely smeared in the mainstream, in schools, on social media. He looks like he's educated, higher education. It's even worse. So ridiculous. We want to make abundantly clear that Fox News media strongly condemns this horrific, racist, misogynistic, and homophobic behavior. Neff's abhorrent conduct on this forum was never divulged to the show or the network until Friday, at which point we swiftly accepted his resignation, meaning they fired him, right? This is what he did. Make no mistake, actions such as his, what actions? He posted comments. That's not actions, that's speech. Actions such as his cannot and will not be tolerated at any time in any part of our workforce. Okay, so they don't support the spirit of the freedom of speech, especially not when it's generally true. Scott and Wallace added that Carlson will address the controversy on his show Monday night, and so it'll probably have to be approved by the scummy people like them. Fox News host did not address the CNN report on his show Friday, though he did take a vague shot at CNN. We'll see what Tucker says. It's going to be interesting. He's been under attack for telling the truth. So, I support this guy. And I wish him well. Right on, man. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't apologize. Mo Betta Stand Up says, God plus Jesus bless you all. I'll check up on everyone in a year after the next phase of the globalist banker. Something. Crazy, huh? Now you're aware of what's going on with that guy. Let me get to some calls. Some of you guys have been on hold for some time. Kevin, I'm losing my voice. Kevin out of Chicago, Illinois, first-time caller. Kevin, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I was listening. I was going to say something else, but I was listening to that Richard call.
Yeah.
And I just have to disagree with you because you're naming all the symptoms, but you're not naming the problem. To solve a problem, you first have to name the problem. And, you could talk about Black Lives Matter. You could talk about blue-haired social justice warriors and indoctrinated college kids. But who has indoctrinated them? Who is funding the politicians, funding the media that is getting rid of Steve King? Who crucified Steve King in the media the same way they crucified Jesus 2,000 years ago?
Everybody participated in it. But you're not actually naming the problem. You're naming another symptom. The Jews, this whole Jewish thing.
Listen.
No,
Hold
you
on
listen,
Let
Kevin.
me get my phone to talk.
Hold on. You're naming the symptom. This whole Jewish thing, they're another symptom, man. That's not the root problem. So you're just naming another symptom.
Oh, did you look at? Hello?
Yeah, I had to put you on hold because you were talking over me.
Okay. You got to look at who controls the media, who controls the financial banking institutions.
Hey, Kevin.
Oh, man, you're not even letting me talk. You're going to interrupt me?
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you. Because you said that you apparently told Nick that you wanted to talk about the statues being taken down, which is a dishonest statement because you haven't named that at all. And you're acting just like the subversive Jews that you hate because you're not being honest about what you want to talk about. You're acting like a snake, just like them. You've become what you hate. Did you notice that, Kevin?
Well, I was going to talk about the statues, but I was listening to your show, and I come across the Richard from Kentucky talking point regarding him wanting to talk about who controls both sides of the aisle. And
all right, I'll accept that.
And your response to that was, don't worry about that, just worry about yourself.
Right.
What I'm going to say to you is, just worry about yourself. On your show, what are you doing, man? Just worry about yourself. If you're not going to name who's the problem is, then you're controlled opposition.
No, Kevin.
What are you afraid of your YouTube show getting taken down?
Hey, Kevin.
You're afraid of your
Hey, Kevin, be quiet. If you really care about the show and you know that YouTube doesn't like you going after the Jews, then why would you try to subvert the show? You're controlled opposition. You're a sleaze. And I told him that he's right about that. But the people who get hung up on it, I didn't say don't name the problem. And that's not the problem. You can name the symptoms. I have called them out plenty on my show. I'm not really that into it. You are. But you'll notice that I didn't stop. I didn't really shut him up. I allowed him to talk for 10 minutes. I talked with him too. But you're being a fake, Kevin. How long have you listened to my show?
I listened to your show for quite a while.
No, how long is quite a while? How long is quite a while?
Couple months, and my point is,
and in those couple months, I have talked about how Jews are doing wrong. Have I not?
Yeah, but I don't listen to every single show.
Are you a Christian? Hey, Kevin, are you a Christian?
Yes.
Then how come you're calling that the problem?
Calling what the problem?
You're calling the Jews being behind this stuff the problem when that's not the problem. That's the symptom.
I'm calling out a big problem, and that's Jewish power.
You're calling out a big
Jewish
symptom.
Supremacy.
I gotta go.
Jewish supremacy.
No. Hold on. I asked you, how come if you're a Christian, how come you're focusing on the physical and not the spiritual?
I'm focusing on everything.
No, you're not.
I'm focusing on everything.
No, you're not.
I'm bettering myself. I'm calling out the problem, who's controlling these people.
Hey, Kevin. Those people, you have to blame the people for being controlled, just like you're controlled by them. You're hung up on them, and you're not looking at yourself. And you're calling me out as if, oh, I'm scared to talk about it. But you don't know me. You're hung up on your issue.
Wait, so
because listen, Richard was like, how do I red pill people? You don't red pill, you can't force people to wake up. But you're hung up on what you think you know, and you're not an honest person. Do you see that?
No, I disagree. I just want to make this last point without interrupting me. Could you let me get my last point across without interrupting me and muting me?
No, because you come in here accusing and being sleazy, and you're acting just like the people that you hate.
Damn, you're a little bitch, aren't you?
I told you. What a sleaze. The people who have there's honest people who have problems with Jews, and they are like maybe more on it than me, and they like me because they're more honest, but that guy's not an honest person. A sleazy person. Anyways, let me get to Maverick out of North Carolina, first-time caller. Maverick, how you doing?
Beta! Amazing!
What's up, man? Appreciate you hanging on.
Hey. All right, James. You got good audio? How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. You don't have any feedback or anything right now from my side, on my side?
You sound like you're on speakerphone, but you sound okay.
I am on speakerphone. I just wanted to
come off a speakerphone then, man.
Hold on, brother, right now.
Dang.
All right, how you doing now?
I'm doing fine. That's better.
Good. I want to say, Kevin, beta! Kevin, pull on your big girl panties, Kevin, and get rigorously honest with yourself, first of all. All right, now, I just want to say that to him. And the red pill guy, I got to say that James is exactly right. Brother, it isn't for you to worry about how everybody else in the world gets to the point of understanding. It is their time. Everybody has their time.
Yeah.
Maybe God is not done whipping that ass Maybe you still have lessons to learn, and you haven't gotten the red pill yet because you are still in the learning process. Now, I got to say that I appreciate what James does and the Hake Report and what Jesse does. And I've listened to about 100 hours of Jesse recently. And what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the producer in that.
I was a producer. Now it's Nick. Nick is the new producer for Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh, yeah, he's been the producer for over a year now, actually, I think.
Yeah, that's great because the editing is hilarious and I love it. And I have a small YouTube channel. And just to make a shameless plug real quick, it's called Getting Past Broken. That's a class that deals with hurts, hang-ups, and habits. And, I want to push your narrative completely, And one of the sad things is if the listeners to this show can just mum it up and, stop thinking for a minute and just hear what I have to say. Everybody. And this is for the men, okay? Because I'm not going to speak for women because I'm not a woman. I don't think like a woman. And I got to back Jesse up. You're either an alpha male, a man acting like a man, or you're a beta bitch. And it's not a bad
Maverick.
thing to be. Yeah.
I don't like that. I mean, Jesse can say that on his show, but I don't like saying that on my show or having my callers say that stuff on my show.
Okay, good. I stand corrected. Fine. Yeah. So and I support that. But if in fact the male identity and the male emotional state, let me just keep it in that context. Is that fair?
Go for it.
If the male emotional state is wrapped up in emotions and details and information and all the data, and it's not centered in how he is structured, a man is structured in his own environment, starting with his home, with his relationships with his God, and with the people around him that are most immediate and definitely connected to the outcome of his emotions. A man can't be emotional. So the callers that call in, they're all calling in on the details and stuff that we offer in a podcast or a live stream. That's you and I. I do live streams, and I've got hours and hours of podcasts. But it's really incredibly interesting how when you ask a question as an interviewer, you, James, that the men calling in will not directly answer the question.
They're trained not to. It's interesting.
It's absolutely mind-blowing.
They either jump ahead or change the subject or what? It's crazy.
Change the subject or this or that or this or that. And what's amazing really to really put into the context of understanding, because that's why you do what you do. Am I wrong? I mean, you do it because you love people and you want everyone to understand the pathway to happiness and to true love. And true love is loving yourself and understanding your personal value. I mean,
yeah,
I get it.
Maverick, I got to run. I appreciate you calling. Take care, man.
Cool.
All right. I'm not really into people plugging their own stuff, plugging other stuff that I don't know about, sneaking that in there. But whatever. He was nice. Let me get to Joe. He's been on hold forever. Out of Phoenix, Arizona. I think you may want to respond to Bible Go-To Guy about the Constitution. Joe, good to hear from you. What's up?
Yeah, James. So this is for Bible Go-To Guy.
All right.
In 1987, the U.S. Senate acknowledged the Great Law of Peace as what the U.S. Constitution was modeled both in principle and form.
Stay close to your phone. Stay close to your phone.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit. We'll turn you up, I think.
The Constitution was modeled on the Iroquois Great Law of Peace.
The Constitution was modeled off of the Iroquois, which is an American Indian tribe. Great Law of Peace?
Correct.
Interesting.
Great Law of Peace.
I heard it was also based off the Enlightenment, and a bunch of them were Christians.
Some of that is true as well, but yeah, the Great Law of Peace, the U.S.
In short, what was the Great Law of Peace?
Hold on a second.
Man, I'm cutting him slack.
It included, you there?
Yeah.
All right, so.
The Great Law of Peace, in short.
Yeah, it ensured freedom of speech, freedom of religion, separation of powers, checks and balances, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, 3 branches of government, and a Supreme Court. So it had a lot of the foundational things that became part of our Constitution.
Interesting. I feel like I've heard something along those lines before. And so you're saying that the red man and not the white man came up with some of the basis for the Constitution. That the white man.
I'm not bringing color.
And I know, but he said it was. I mean, the only reason that I can imagine that you brought this up was because Baba Gotu guy said that it was written by white men and nobody else has duplicated it.
Correct.
Interesting.
So,
well, I mean, I guess those whites know some wisdom even from the. Those whites knew some wisdom from the reds, even if the red men, that is. Even if they guess they could see the truth in any race, right? Isn't that nice? Typical of whites to be able to see wisdom in other people.
Nice spin, Hake.
I mean, it's true. Isn't it kind of true, though? Even if it is spin, you can say that it's... Isn't that nice to be able to recognize wisdom from an... Look, like, I didn't even think about the fact that Jesse Lee Peterson is black. I started coming to the church with Jesse Lee Peterson because I recognized what he was saying is truth. But he was giving this, I know you disagree with him about Christian stuff, but he was giving this no excuses mentality. Yes, you're supposed to overcome sin. And that was very attractive to me. And, you know, I'm white. I'm not that into whiteness. Most people aren't, right? Most whites aren't. And so they appreciate the truth coming from anybody. So it's not necessarily just spin to, if what you're saying is true about the Iroquois, that it is kind of unsurprising that whites would take that and develop their own version.
Well,
you're part white. Why can't you acknowledge it? I mean, even if you're into facts, right? Why can't you acknowledge that? Anyways,
you know, history is just history. History does not have a color. Period.
Right. Hey, last time you talked to me, you called me a punk B word, and you called it to me twice, and I was like, don't say that stuff out loud. Not because I didn't want to be like exposed, but because I don't like, I mean, it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough language on my show. What do you think about that conversation, your conduct, etc.?
Well, I won't do that again. I'll leave it at that. But your conduct was very cowardly and keeping putting me on hold.
You know, I put people on hold because I try to, rather than talk over them, I put them on hold so that I can talk, and then I let them talk and respond.
But you weren't letting me talk then, Hake. You kept talking over me and kept putting me on hold because you knew I had the facts to debunk the crap that you were saying there.
But hold on, because you're a mind reader, so you think that you think you're a mind reader, so you think that that's why I put you on hold. But I was showing that, for example, you have more nuance to the story about abortion and Obama and what he supported and whether it was infanticide that he supported. Well, likewise...
Facts are not nuance, they're facts, James.
Right, but nuance are facts, right? Factual nuance, right?
No.
Right?
The fact is Obama never supported letting babies die on the table, period.
But he supports killing babies regardless, right?
He did support legislation that made international abortions easier, yes.
Yeah, so he supports killing babies. And I've asserted that in many cases, children are born and then killed in many abortions. It's not talked about, but it's factual according to what I've heard, right? And
also on record saying that he wanted more adoptions and more fosters, and abortions actually fell under his 8 years, period.
You know, a lot of likewise, why can't you accept mitigating circumstances such as Robert E. Lee wanted slavery to go away, but he kept slaves and he did allow his soldiers to kidnap free black farmers and enslave them. I did see that was true, but he had mitigating, even though he accepted it and helped expand it, he also wanted it gone away. So no different from Obama with abortion, Robert E. Lee with slavery.
I haven't seen any credible information that says Lee wanted slavery to go away.
Yeah, he said it was a headache. He said Yeah.
Because they're fighting a war over it, but he wasn't against the institution of slavery.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He thought it was a moral and political evil, and he thought that it was worse for whites than it was for blacks. So, yeah, if you look up his Wikipedia, which we all know, like, Wikipedia is a liberal bias, which even with the liberal bias, there are these statements in Wikipedia. So it's just an interesting thing to point out that, and I think that you think that slavery is worse than abortion, which we can talk about that again later, but
sure.
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate it, Joe. Good to hear from you. And you're you're sounding well.
I'll be the bigger man and apologize for calling you the B word.
I accept. And right. I don't know if you were wrong, but it was like a little too rough for this family-friendly show. Yeah. All right, Joe. Appreciate it. I totally accept. Bye-bye. Take care. All right. Let me quickly get to Chris out of Illinois. Chris, it's good to hear from you. What's up?
Well, what's up, James? I just wanted to comment. I had a friend post an article that was stating that America is not a Christian nation. And I was curious, so I clicked on it, and I was expecting to read about, I don't know, natives or something like that, Freemasons, I don't know. But it turns out it was an article about not wearing a mask. And because Americans are selfish and immoral because we're not wearing masks and we're spreading this disease around.
Was it written by a woman or a male?
I have no idea. I read it, and then I was just quick to, start commenting because my friend that posted this doesn't vaccinate his kid.
Oh.
And I was trying to point out, hey, man, this is the same argument against, what people say about you vaccinating your kids, which I'm not for vaccines.
Right.
It's that idea. That's exactly the same thing. And I was like, you're calling yourself selfish. And then he said, he deleted my comment, and then I wrote him on my phone, and I was like, hey, man, why'd you delete my comment?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, it came out of left field, but he was like, oh, I forgot. You love America.
Man, it's, the emotions are high. So people are going to overreact, especially when you tell them the truth.
I just thought it was funny.
It is.
How does that make America non-Christian? I just don't know where all this arguments come from, and it's really just like college liberals.
It is.
I went to a liberal college, and they're the ones saying this stuff.
It reminds me a lot of all this drama about global warming and climate change and stuff, and that's like people act like, oh, you don't believe in science. Meanwhile, these people support transgenderism and they dehumanize babies that are unborn. They call them fetuses as if they're not, pretending that that's not human being and pretending that that's okay to kill and all kinds of stuff. They're fake and they support homosexuality even though it's known to be bad for you in the long run. And even though it's known to be abnormal and immoral, everybody knows it. It is, they have this false version of reality and false religion where you have to wear a mask, otherwise you're selfish, and you have to support the Green New Deal, which is communist, globalist, socialist, and surrendering us to the UN, which is one of the most disgusting organizations. So yeah, they're not such a person that says America are not Christians because they don't wear masks. That person who wrote that and who shared that, they're not Christians themselves. Does your friend pretend that he's a Christian?
And I believe he is a Christian. I don't know. He lives in the Northeast, so I don't know what their thinking is. I live in, the middle of nowhere in Illinois.
Right.
And I'll say you made a really good point earlier about the whole evolution thing and the survival of the fittest, because all these people follow that guideline up until it doesn't follow their narrative any longer.
Right. Yeah. And in fact, man, that's kind of really what's happening. They're using the weak nature of what's happening with the whites against them. And it is really bad. And, it's bad for everybody. With South Africa, the attack on whites, it's bad for the blacks, too. And it's so evil. These people are so deluded.
Cool.
Anyways.
I will send you that article in your email.
All right, appreciate it, Chris.
It might be something worth looking into, but I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Chris. Take care.
You too.
All right. We're opening the treasure chest, guys. You should see it right now. The fact is, this guy is an F word, says Dark Side of the Bear. What? I don't know who he's referring to. She's referring to. Mo Betta stand-up gave a diamond and said, eternal revenge. Final diamond until it goes down. Thank you. Mo Betta stand-up says, dumping lemons choose hate Christians. Yeah, it's true. Caller meant to say, choose killed Jesus despite something. Yeah, it's true. Brindle got a subscription. Congratulations. Thank you to Dark Side of the Bear. What? Right on. Let me double check. John X15 said, oh yeah, I already read that one. Paramedic says, hold on. Hi, James. Thank you, Paramedic. Nice to hear from you, man. So, let me tell you guys, in the last few minutes, Trump is protecting the monuments. That's nice. He tweeted out on Sunday, no radical left anarchists, agitators, looters, or protesters will be knocking down or harming the Washington Monument, the Lincoln or Jefferson memorials, or just about any other federal monument or statue if they even try an automatic 10 years in prison. Sorry, he misspelled the word monument the second time, federal monument, and that was trending. But Trump is calling for unity and love. And meanwhile, the mainstream media is accusing him of division and hatred, but they're the ones pushing division and hatred, trying to incite the POCs and the women against whites and against men and against conservatives. They push this stuff like, if you don't wear a mask, you're not a Christian. All kinds of crazy stuff. I have an update on the knockout game attack in the last couple of minutes here. You guys may have seen that video. I'm not showing it here. This Missouri man that sucker punched the 12-year-old boy in Cape Girardeau, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is 100 miles south of St. Louis, Missouri, right on the border with Illinois. Heavy reports that the boy got a concussion, according to his mother, this 12-year-old boy. You guys saw that clip on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, right? This blonde guy that was doing this hip-hop dancing and the rap song. It wasn't something that Joel Friday would play on his thegiftedofdance.com. It was saying something, I don't normally do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, something, 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 something. And it was kept on repeating that line. And you see this guy jumps out of, apparently it looks like the passenger seat of a vehicle, a dark vehicle, and punches this kid. Plays a knockout game from behind. He comes in acting like he's gonna dance along, and that's common. That people will stop and pretend to dance along or dance along with these guys because they go out in the street in this Cape Girardeau in Missouri. This black teacher has this 12-year-old white student, and he was dancing. And according to CNN, the man accused of punching this 12-year-old street dancer has turned himself in. That's by Leah Ashmelash and Eileen McInemin. According to CNN, when it was reported actually last Wednesday, July 8th. Here's this mugshot of this Cedric Moore Jr. He was also known as CJ Moore, according to others online. Of course, they headline it like he turned himself in as though he has a conscience. Nope, that's not the reality of what happened. Officers attempted to find Moore, Cedric Moore, this man, at his residence and other locations that he was known to frequent, but were met with a lack of cooperation from the suspect's friends and so-called family. That's what police said in a statement. They also said, they posted it on Facebook, our department would also like to thank the large volume of information we received from the public on Cedric Moore. Your concern for decency and your tips on his whereabouts left this violent suspect with nowhere else to hide and helped to lead to his peaceful surrender. That's from Sergeant Joey Hahn. Also on CJ Moore, he's been charged with second-degree felony assault and first-degree felony child endangerment. Not with a hate crime. It was not filed as a hate crime according to KFS FVS 12. due to hate crime statute is assault in the 3rd degree, a lower degree of assault than what was filed. Why didn't they charge the 3rd degree one too, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? But they didn't. And what about the vehicle driver, the getaway driver, the vehicle owner? And there was another accomplice. CNN is fake news. They said that Moore fled back to the car and drove away. But he did not drive. He was riding shotgun. He was in the passenger side, who did not drive away. In fact, the boys' dancer, Michael Crank Curry, initially ran after Moore, but turned around and attended to his student when he realized there were 2 others in the car, and they drove off like cowards. So what about the 2 others, including that driver? That's called being an accomplice. What about those guys? But we'll see. And meanwhile, they're attacking the whites. Washington Redskins, no more. And because it's racist. Such a shame. Anyways, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. TheHakeReport.com, JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.